coming up on the 70% Podcast.
There's one important thing that I need to say.
Yes.
I need to get this off my chest.
Okay.
I said in the earlier podcast that Kyle Rittenhouse had brought a firearm across state line, and at the very least, he should be prosecuted for doing such. Okay?
Right.
I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was wrong, Amy.
So Rittenhouse said that he's destroying the gun. That now
Destroying what gun?
the gun that he used.
So what? What does that have to do with the
Well,
person?
it's all over the place in the news.
So he's just I don't understand what that means.
Rittenhouse.
I don't understand how that benefits anybody.
He doesn't want it around. I can see that.
Just a gun? What difference does that make? But let's pull up all the articles last week about the black people that claimed self-defense.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yes. We missed this part.
No,
because
let's talk about that. Let's
Yeah.
bring those up. There are black people in this country who do not like white people at all. Okay, and I'm going to tell you a story here. That they missed the fact that these people grew up in an era where these things were happening, where segregation was a real thing, and today black people are not the victims anymore. We're just not.
The 70% Podcast with your host, Amy Alexander and Mike Sewell.
So we are a week behind.
We are. Well, here's the thing. I have to apologize because last week, we're not actually a week behind. We did do the show last week. Unfortunately, I did it from the airport, LAX.
Because you were traveling to your family
Yes,
and whatever. And
yes,
we thought,
for
we were like, oh,
Thanksgiving.
yeah,
Yeah,
we just do, hey,
Right.
technology.
We can zoom in. It's okay. Yeah, no, not so much.
No, they don't have any quiet spaces in airports
Not
anymore.
in LAX unless you want to go in the smoking section. And I don't smoke.
That's right.
I know.
Woo-hoo. High
Yeah,
five.
boy.
How long has it been now?
About 2 months now. Oh, close to 2 months.
Good job.
Maybe
Good
a
job.
month and a half. But let's just call it 2 months.
All right.
It's so long I don't even remember.
And you're past the hump of,
Right,
So now
right,
you're
right.
officially a non-smoker. That's awesome.
Correct. So here's the deal. So I apologize that we screwed up last week, or I screwed up last week being at LAX and not being able to be heard while I was in the airport,
Right.
because we had Bill LeMay on.
We did.
That was so wonderful. And the conversation was actually like riveting. It was just a wonderful conversation.
But then, we were in the middle of a conversation, and then it was like, flight 3675, you are boarding. And then we were like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
So,
And Bill and I got into it a little bit.
You did.
Just a little bit.
At some point, maybe we'll be able to pull a few of those pieces out to do some,
we'll see.
stingers or whatever. Yeah. And Bill definitely wants to be on again. You guys
No,
didn't get into it enough.
He's a great guy. He's a great. Even though and that's the thing. That's the thing about this show. 70%. Like Bill and I, we just didn't agree on that specific subject. However, at the end of the show, we were like, "Hey, Bill, it was nice to meet you. Nice to talk to you." And we went our separate ways with our separate opinions, and we still are okay with one another. Mm-hmm. He's okay with coming back on the show again.
Yep.
I'm okay with having him on the show again.
He's looking forward to it.
Right. And that's the way it should be. You know what I mean? And so that's the reason for the 70% Podcast, because we want the voices of the 70% of the people in the United States to be heard.
Right.
And that's what we are.
Right.
You and I don't agree on everything.
No.
However, at the end of the day, we still love each other. We're still friends. Mm-hmm. And that's the way it should be.
And it's been that way for years and years and years.
15 at the very least.
Yeah.
I always say like 20 or 30 to age you.
That is not true. All right. But here's the thing. What do we do if we feel... So who are we, the judge and jury of who the 15% are on each side? Like, what if somebody I have somebody that wants to come on, and he's definitely on the 15% of the right side.
Here's the thing. In my opinion, I think we should bring that person on so that we can sit down and have a discussion. At the end of the day, they may have come to some understanding that they're not all right, and or we may come to an understanding that we're not all right. for example, here's the thing.
I'm all right. Nate, I don't remember this song. Oh, okay. Anyway, sorry.
Nate, there you go. Right. So here's the thing. We had Jenny on a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. We didn't agree with everything that she said. However, at the end of the day, we were like, you know what? I didn't think of it that way.
Right. Every time I talk to Jenny, she's like, I'm like, oh, I didn't think of it that way.
Right.
She's very smart.
Forget about it. So bringing that person on, whoever it may be, let's bring them on. Let's have them on the show so that we can have a discussion. And if they leave upset, that's their problem, not
Right. Hey, there's the door. See? Nate, the producer, we need runway lights in the studio.
so that we can sit
with an air traffic controller doing Warrior 1.
Right.
If you're done, that's the door.
There's the door right there. Yeah, you can use that one or this one.
I know you
that
guys can't see us,
though.
but we have a studio. I mean, our setup is pretty nice. Nate, the producer, has set us up, but there is definitely some.
There's a place for them to get out.
Right.
Quickly.
But there's like a hallway that you have to.
Well, it's not a fire trap.
Well, here's the thing.
No, not a fire trap
and
at
if
all.
they leave upset, they can sit by the pond and kind of ponder what's going on. They can
Oh
look
my
at the
God,
fish.
we should make the pond like the.
As a
Time
zen area.
Do you remember the movie Tin Cup?
Yes.
When she had the exit room and Roy came into the exit, she's like, "What are you doing in the exit room?" She's crying out here. She's like, "Yes, I know." Sorry. Okay, so Mike needs to see Tin Cup.
Well, maybe I need to watch that. We'll check.
You know what's great? You know what I realized while I was listening to, for obvious reasons, listening to all the stuff that we did last week.
I'm so sad that we can't air that.
Well, I'm still working on it. Who knows? Maybe it's a tease. We might be able to.
Yeah, I'm sure there are some
here's
parts.
If we could pull some excerpts from that, that would be
You guys
wonderful.
proved that here's something we have lost, and it's just an observation. We have lost the idea. It used to be that when we were arguing, we were actually taking things out for a spin and not attacking, but it's too strong of a verb, but talking about ideas. It wasn't personal.
Right.
Do you notice how now
Right.
it's personal?
Exactly.
Like if I actually don't agree with you, Mike or Amy, I am somehow like going to your house in the middle of the night and kicking your puppy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Don't you
It's
ever?
social
But
media.
Look, here's
I'm not joking.
No, I know. Here's the thing, okay? And I'm just going to I love my family to death. I really do. I was invited to Thanksgiving. I was invited to Thanksgiving because my grandmother is a little bit older, a little bit up there in age, and I was supposed to go out and visit her just in case, she doesn't make it till next year, okay? So I get out there, and I was uninvited to Thanksgiving after I had already spent the money to get to California.
you spend the money to go. Where did you go?
California.
San Francisco, right?
Right, the
Which
Bay
isn't
Area.
a cheap place to
was,
stay.
well, I took myself and my daughter out there, and then we had to get a hotel room. My uncle paid for the car, so that wasn't didn't cost me any money. However, we go out there, but to Nate's point is what I'm getting at is that even though I had COVID, like I don't know, a month prior, and I would had taken the test to prove that I didn't have COVID, they still were so staunch in their beliefs that I could not attend Thanksgiving dinner.
Because you had COVID. So, I mean, you only had it a month ago. We had to, Jenny was a fill-in for the show because you were sick.
Right, because I was so sick, yep.
You were so sick,
Right.
which, okay, if you don't want to get that sick, get the
Right.
shot, I guess. Whatever.
Here's the thing. It's an opinion. If you want the shot, get the shot. If you don't want the shot, don't get the shot. And it's
in
okay.
the eyes,
It's no big deal. Whatever.
in the eyes of our system, though, it's not an opinion. It's a must have, or we are the ones that are
But here's the
demise
here's
of
the
the
thing,
planet.
Amy. That's the 15% on the left that are saying that you need to have them, and that's to Nate's point. We got 15% of the people that are so loud and so quote unquote obnoxious about their beliefs that you have to do it my way or the highway kind of a deal.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, we started this show off with me apologizing for
a show that is
for ruin. Well,
You
I
didn't
I
ruin
guess
the
I
show.
didn't ruin the show.
No,
last
I
week.
mean, you
But we
had-
tried to
Yeah.
tried to do the show, so I apologize for that. But there's one important thing that I need to say. I need to
Yes.
get this off my chest. I
Okay.
said in the earlier podcast that Kyle Rittenhouse had brought a firearm across state lines,
Mm-hmm.
and at the very least, he should be prosecuted for doing such. Okay,
Right.
I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was wrong, Amy. He did not bring that firearm across state lines. He came across state lines
It was already here.
and he picked that up from his father's house,
Mhm.
who lives in
Kenosha.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was completely wrong about that, and
You did
everybody
say,
should because I said that
if
he,
anything,
I
if,
said that he brought the firearm across state lines, and if anything, he should be prosecuted for that specific crime.
You and all of media, by the way.
Right.
right.
But once we learned the truth, the media, at the very least, should retract that, just like I'm doing right now. Okay? And I also said that based on the footage that we've seen with Kyle, that young man, okay, and I'm not praising him for killing anyone. However,
No.
his control, I don't think I could have had that type of control.
If he was really a racist, everything that they're accusing him of,
Well,
then
we started
he
the
would have
conversation
just
off as white
sprayed-
supremacists.
Yeah.
So if he was really a white supremacist, as Biden said he was, he would have just killed everybody on the street.
Right. He could have just sprayed them all.
Right. He
But
could
he
have just
didn't.
kept pulling the trigger.
But when you watch the video, once you see, and here's the problem with media, and you guys have to, everybody out there, you have to realize the media is judge, jury, and executioner before anybody else
Before it
is.
even gets to court.
Before it
It's
even gets to court.
propaganda.
I mean, and there are a lot of people that said, "Oh, he shouldn't have shot him because now he's judge, jury, and executioner." So, but when you're at a point where you're deciding between your life and their life, what do?
You like I said, had I, and I've thought about this at length. I really did, Nate. I'm at home. I'm watching this video. I'm seeing this young man point the gun at people, and as soon as they backed off, he moved the muzzle away from them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I cannot honestly say that I would have done the same thing.
I feel like he had,
He had a lot of control.
He had a lot of control.
For 17 years old
yeah,
to only shoot the people who were actively attacking him. That is an extreme amount of control.
right.
And I'm not praising the kid. Okay?
And didn't he
I
shoot
don't
the
think that
hand
you should-
off of the guy that had the gun at
The
him?
gun that was he was pointing the gun at, and that's a whole nother debacle. I mean, this guy is talking about, well, I didn't have the gun pointed at him. No, you did. Clearly, in the video, you can see you had the gun.
I don't know
pointed
why
at him.
people continue
You
to
got
lie
shot.
in the age of video.
Right, you got shot, and now all of a sudden you're the victim. No, you're not the victim, buddy. Okay, and again, that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, now, thank you for the apology.
Oh,
Or
you're welcome.
I don't even know what.
No,
yeah.
here's the thing. I needed to correct that.
Right.
I was wrong, and this is how the media should handle shit.
I was just going to say, you're better than
Right.
No, I'm not better than anyone. Okay, I was wrong.
Well,
I
let me
didn't do
say
the
it.
research. I didn't do the homework
I wish
in order to get all the facts prior to passing judgment on this gentleman. Okay, and I just passed judgment on him based on the little bit of what I knew. Okay, but the media, once they find out that they're wrong in what they're doing or what they said, they should absolutely say, you know what, we were wrong. Kyle did not bring that gun across state lines. Kyle had the gun at his father's house. He came across state lines to protect his city.
Which you and I,
His
but we talked
city.
about this last week when Bill LeMay was on, that you and I, in the city of Green Bay, when George Floyd happened and we thought there were going to be protests, we volunteered to help our
Absolutely.
businesses.
Absolutely.
We were going to bring guns? No.
No.
But we
not,
were...
not that we couldn't have if we wanted
Oh,
to.
right. But
You know? But we decided that wasn't the course of action that we wanted to take.
No.
However, we were going to create a chain.
we're going to create a
We
chain of
had
presence.
about,
Oh.
20, 30 people that were going to come with us?
At least.
Right.
At
And we were
least.
going to create a chain in front of these businesses that they were talking about tearing down so that people would not. And then we were going to take video of the people that were trying to destroy these businesses.
Right. We were there to document
Right.
their.
Right. And
Yes.
give it to the police so that they can catch these people and put them behind bars. Here's the thing. You don't get to be opportunistic. Just because the rest of the world is losing their damn mind and tearing shit up doesn't mean that you get to do it as well. That's just my personal opinion.
Right. So the rest of the world isn't tearing shit up, though, without the help of the media. I mean, do you really think that...
I think Antifa is instigating a lot of this shit. I think that
how are they getting that out there?
When you look at
What are they
the
doing?
footage.
Put in a Craigslist ad out?
I have no idea how they're getting that information.
I mean,
out there.
somebody's
But when
got to
you
be
look at
putting
the
that out
footage
there.
from
And then
Minnesota after
George Floyd.
George Floyd had passed away. Okay, when you look at the footage of the people that started the riots out there, that were breaking windows, they were white people breaking windows and starting the riots. And then you have opportunistic people, whether white, black, Asian, whatever, I don't give a shit what the hell they are. They came and said, "Oh, the window's broken. I'm gonna go in here and get my stuff. Get stuff." You know what I mean?
Oh, there's still
Get
a
stuff.
TV sitting there.
Right. I'm gonna get stuff for free. So they were just opportunistic people. But the people that started it was the Antifa. They were the white liberals tearing shit up.
Are we considering
And making
Antifa is white liberals? Is
Yeah,
that are we for
absolutely.
sure defining them as white liberals?
Who are they? They're not black people. Antifa is not black
Well,
people.
it stands for anti-fascist.
Right.
But
And those are all white liberals.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
I don't want to say that they're all white. I mean, there is a certain point where everybody in a situation feeds off each other.
Okay.
And whether or not, so for instance, the Kyle Rittenhouse, that situation, they're saying that that's racist, that he is a white supremacist
Right.
just because
Right.
he did that in an effort.
He did what?
He killed 2 people and shot another
Right.
during a BLM protest.
Black Lives Matter. So here's how the media is trying to portray that. They're trying to say that he's a white supremacist just because he killed white people at a Black Lives Matter protest. So because it was a Black Lives Matter protest, even though they were white people that he killed, he's still a white supremacist.
Do you remember what that protest was about?
The protest was about the gentleman that got shot 7 times in the back.
Jake.
Nate, can you help us out? You know who that was?
Jacob Blake.
Jacob Blake.
Jacob Blake. Yep. You're right.
So Jacob Blake was about. This all started because there
He's still a black guy.
He is. See, this is the thing.
I'm just saying he's still a black
The
guy.
media is portrayed like he is still a black guy. He's still alive. There are because of the death of Jacob Blake, there was this
No,
protest.
the shooting of Jacob Blake, not the death.
Well,
they never said
there
they never said the death.
There are people out there saying the death of.
I have never seen that. I'm sorry. I haven't seen it.
Okay,
The shooting of Jacob Blake. So here's the thing with Jacob Blake, and again, I'm going to throw this out there, and I'm going to say it's my opinion. If I were a police officer trying to subdue Jacob Blake, and he got away from me and 2 other police officers, and went around to his his driver's door to get into his car, I would hope that I would not have shot him 7 times.
Right.
He was fighting with
Kyle Rittenhouse would have just shot the gun out of his hand.
Police. Wow. He was fighting with police officers.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got away from those police officers and went around his car to the driver's side of his car to get inside the car. Here's the thing. Like I told you before, and a couple of episodes ago, I was auxiliary police officer in New York City. You don't allow a perpetrator to get into their car.
And come back or do and
You have no idea what they're getting out of that car with, or what they're going to come back to you with out of that. You know damn well that before they got in that car, they were empty-handed.
Right.
You have no idea once they open that door and get into that car what they're coming out of that car
Right. And if they were not guilty or not going to do anything, then why would they go to their car? And why?
I can't. Here's the thing: we can't assume why he was going to his why he was getting it. Maybe he was just going to drive away. Maybe he didn't have anything in the car at all. We don't know. So we can't assume that just because he went to the driver's door, he's guilty. However, if I were a police officer, I would not have given him the chance to get to that driver's door. But that's me.
And as a police officer, you're trained to shoot where?
Yeah, but that's 7 times. I mean, 7 times.
Yeah, that was excessive.
That's extremely excessive. 7 times. You shoot somebody 7 times.
I've never been in a situation.
In the back?
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yes. But I also don't think that he should be put on a pedestal like he is. I mean, there is a reason he ended up in that situation, and that seems to be wiped out.
Well, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to prosecute someone based on their actions when the actions of someone else superseded their actions. Okay, so let's say that you got upset at me, you slapped me in the face, right?
Right.
You're what, 5'2"?
5'2" and a half.
110 maybe?
Yeah, about that.
If that.
Yeah.
Soaking wet.
A buck and some change. Yep.
And then I'm what? 245. Okay, let's be real. 275.
How tall are you?
6'2".
You're like twice my size. No, not
Right.
twice. You're a foot higher or
Right.
taller than me.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's just hypothetically say you slapped me, and I turned around and closed fist punched you. I mean, are my actions like what? So what you did was harmful to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I defended myself
By clocking me in the face.
at 6'2", 275 pounds.
You would knock me out.
I think that's a little bit overboard.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that at the height and weight that I am, I probably can accept the slap from you and not have to go knocking you out on your feet. So basically what I'm saying is that he did not have to shoot him 7 times
Right.
in the back. We didn't have to go that far.
Right.
However, again,
In the heat of the moment.
I'm not a police officer.
Right.
I'm not in the heat of the moment. I have no idea what he's going through or what's going through his mind.
And do we have any idea whether or not the police officers that were on that scene had previous dealings with Jacob Blake?
Why does that matter?
Because I think it mattered. Like
Why? Why does it matter? So what? So I don't care if he was a hardened criminal. That day, maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was in the right.
What?
So what?
What?
You're telling me people can't be reformed? People can't do things differently?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying from past experience. So maybe the police officer that shot him ended up barely getting away with his life the last time he had an altercation with them. I mean, they all have the same beat. They all have the same, I'm just saying, and this is...
That is purely speculation.
It is
it's all maybe
speculation.
and stuff like that. We cannot... I completely disagree with that.
All right.
Completely. Well, here's the thing. I mean, we could say maybe all day long. We could speculate all day long, and that's not the case. We're talking about what is and what is not. What is that he got away from the police officers after a struggle. Mm-hmm. He got shot 7 times in the back.
And he's still alive.
What's that got to do with the price of tea in China?
Don't even bring up China. I'm just kidding. That's
now
a different...
Now we're off on another tangent.
No.
Forgive us, audience, because we're both ADD. So.
Yeah. No,
seriously, though. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? So what? So what? Why does that matter? It doesn't.
Tell me why it doesn't.
He was shot 7 times in the back. That's excessive force.
It
That's
is excessive
use of
force. The only reason that I'm saying that and it matters is because, and you need to look this up. There are still, or there have been, actually, I think there's still people out there that are saying that he was killed.
I'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah.
I'll have to take a look
There
at
are
that.
some news outlets that are claiming that the Jacob Blake, that was the reason that Rittenhouse ended up in Kenosha because of the murder of Jacob Blake.
Okay.
And not
I'll
that what
have
happened.
I'll have to look at that.
Yeah. And not that what happened is, like, I'm not condoning that or whatever.
No, I understand.
But what I'm saying is that people, especially the media and the divisive conversations that they're all trying to have, is definitely portraying that
Right.
as something, I don't want to say bigger than it was, but it's they're untruths. There
Right.
are untruths.
So they're painting a picture that's not accurate.
Right.
And that's what the media does. And
Right.
but we know that. And that's the reason.
We know that.
Let's reiterate this.
We know
Let's
that.
reiterate this. That's the reason for this show.
Right.
Because we know that 70% of the people in the United States don't care what color you are,
Right.
what race what sexual orientation you subscribe to, how tall you are, what color hair, what color.
Yes.
Yeah, and we need more subscribers so that we can get to the point where we have enough people to vote the people out of office that are not for us.
More subscribers so that we can get some comments and opinions so that we can have discussions with people
Huh.
and make sure that we're not
I'm not in your head.
out of the realm of reality based on how we're thinking.
Here's the thing. I've talked to my friends and family and people, people outside of the studio and so forth. And most of the people that I speak with feel the same way that we feel. Mm-hmm. And when I say most, like, I talk to people from different walks of life, so some of them are chiropractors, some of them are lawyers, some of them are doctors, and they feel the same way we feel, as though this country has lost its freaking mind when it comes to how we interact with one another and how we're so divisive over everything. The shot, the race, the critical race theory, everything is such a divide in this country is absolutely ridiculous.
You know what would have been awesome? Sorry to interrupt. Is when you guys were talking about, I mean, we're not law enforcement. I know you were auxiliary or whatever, but wouldn't it have been great to get like a law enforcement personnel, the people who actually train someone? But the truth of the matter is, they would not come on this show. They wouldn't go on this show to explain, okay, when this situation happens, A, B, C, and D, because everybody's terrified, because they're going to get absolutely destroyed if they were to come on. Can you imagine that in the area
On this
where
show,
Brooke
do you
is?
think they would be
Any
destroyed?
show, bring in an expert to come in. Wouldn't that be great to talk to somebody who's training an actual Wisconsin?
Challenge accepted, Nate.
Let's do it. I would love to have somebody who, that's all they do is they go, okay, officer, these new recruits, here's what you do when someone is going for a glove compartment. Here's what you do when somebody says stop, you need to stop, and they don't. When do you pull your gun? When do you, and so on and so forth. But I guarantee it'd be like pulling teeth. But yeah, let's try.
Yeah, we'll definitely try that.
But they'd be terrified. I'm just telling you. I would be.
You know what? I know a gentleman who's a police officer here, and actually I know a couple of police officers here in Northeast Wisconsin. I'm going to see if I can get them on the show.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear their point of view.
I'd love it.
No, about not only about the Rittenhouse, but also about the race baiting and stuff like that in the United States, how they feel as police officers. Do you feel like you have a target on your back? Do you feel like, what's going on? You know what I mean? I'd love to hear their point of view on these subjects.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
No doubt.
To the listeners out there, We've got good things coming up as far as that's concerned.
And we'll have Bill and me back on too.
Yeah, we're going to have Bill and May back on. But back to Rittenhouse. So Rittenhouse said that he's destroying the gun. That now
Destroying what gun?
the gun that he used.
So what? What does that have to do with the
Well,
person?
it's all over the place in the news.
So he's just I don't understand what that means.
Rittenhouse.
I don't understand how that benefits anybody.
He doesn't want it around. I can see that.
Just a gun, so he could go get a different gun.
What are you saying?
So the specific gun that he used to defend himself against these people, he's going to destroy that gun. However, there are 10 billion more guns just like that out there on the market.
Right.
What difference does that make? How is that making a difference or impact in any way, shape, or form?
I don't know. He went on Charlie Kirk and on his show and said, "I'm gonna."
So
he probably got asked the question, "What are you gonna do with the gun?" I don't know. I would if I had honestly if I accidentally or I don't think I would want to keep that. I don't.
And see, you're better than I am.
I don't.
Because if I was composed enough to shoot only the people that were coming after me, I would probably have it dipped in gold and put on my wall. I know, I'm a jerk.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all.
No, here's the thing.
Wait,
I
do
don't
you hear
understand.
that? Do you hear that out there? That is
The
about
crickets?
10,000
Is that the
people
crickets?
going,
Yeah.
No, here's the thing. It's not the gun that did anything. He did it himself.
Right.
It doesn't matter if he had a handgun, if he had a semi-automatic, if he had an AR-15 or whatever. It does not matter. He did the action.
Right.
So
but he was proven
destroying that gun.
not guilty. Maybe that's his form of closure. How do you?
He's never going to have closure.
No,
He's going to live with that.
He's
going to
live with
his
this
life.
for the rest of his
The
life.
fact that he killed 2 people and maimed another one. He's going to live with that for the rest of his life. And quite honestly, he's going to need a lot of therapy to get over it. Seriously.
I'm sure.
I mean, just in general, the things that there are some things that I have done in my life, and I'm not going to go into detail because it's none of your business.
Okay.
That I needed therapy to be able to get through. Okay?
We all do.
Right. And so for him, and it's never been to that extreme. So for him to be able to get through that, he's going to need a lot of therapy.
He will. He will.
A lot.
And
destroying the gut, okay, maybe it will give him closure, or not closure, but give him some sense of I'm doing the right thing or whatever, Well, I have no idea what it's going to give him, but quite honestly, I would not feel guilty about killing people who are trying to kill me.
Yeah, but
I would not feel guilty about that.
He started the whole now it's white vigilante. Now we have a new phrase that his situation created this entire movement of people.
So let's pull up all the articles that you and I looked up last week. I mostly you, not you and I, but mostly you that looked up last week.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Well, I'm not about stealing credit. I mean, it isn't. But let's pull up all the articles last week about the black people that claimed self-defense.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yes. We missed this part.
No,
because
let's talk about that. Let's bring those up. Okay, so Kyle Rittenhouse claimed self-defense, and he got off.
Yes.
And everybody's up in arms about the fact that he got off because he claimed self-defense. Let's talk about the black people in not even the last 6 months, 3 months, 4 months, or whatever, that you pulled up, the articles that you pulled up, that the black people who got off on self-defense and or who are going through litigation right now because they claim there was a gentleman who killed or shot at police officers claiming self-defense. And he's in court right now and probably going to get off based on that fact.
Right. And there was a gentleman that on the very same day, actually. So, and I can't claim to have I didn't do all this research myself, but I found somebody that had links on Twitter and I was like, okay. And then I did.
Yeah, that's right. You did say that.
And then I did research to be sure that she wasn't,
Right.
off
Her rocket.
pile of crap. And then, so an 18-year-old who shot 3 people with an illegally possessed gun at a Texas high school is literally out on bond right now and claiming he shot in self-defense.
Black kid, right?
Yes,
Okay.
black kid. This
Okay.
is
And you know what we need to do? We need to follow that story
right.
to make sure to see whether he gets off or not.
How do you see? I struggle with that.
What?
Following, I mean, the whole, like, how do you keep track of things back here when you have so many things coming up there? And I think that's part of the problem that we have.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest problems in our country today, that we have so much going on that to look back and see whether or not these things are accurate, the information that we're getting is accurate, is hard to do.
Right. It is. It's almost impossible. Who do you believe anymore?
True.
You're supposed to be able to believe the media. Did you know that CNN got bought out and the guy was like, we're going to start doing real journalism now?
Recently? Mm-hmm. Really?
Like 2
No,
days
I didn't
ago.
know that. Wow. No,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So we were discussing the cases that are coming up for the different African Americans who are in the same type of situation as Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yes. Jesus Lima, prosecutors argued he was the aggressor who shot a man he'd previously threatened. The jury sided with Lima, who said he was attacked by the man and 4 others and tried to retreat. Tony Bristol, a nightclub security guard, was acquitted after claiming self-defense in the shooting deaths of 2 unarmed people. Latoya...
And these people are black, right?
Oh,
who've been acquitted. Correct?
yes.
Okay,
but there are other white people too.
No, that was shot. No, I just want to make sure it's clear. So here's the point I'm trying to make.
Okay.
The point I'm trying to make is that a lot of people are saying that Kyle got off because he's white, and that's not the case.
No, there was a black guy that got off on the same charges that same day.
Right, he got off because he was in the right.
In the self-defense
not because he
case.
was white. It has nothing to do with his race. And all of this, the way the media is doing all of this race baiting and trying to say because he was at a Black Lives Matter movement that he's a white supremacist is absolutely ridiculous. And that's just not what is happening.
No, and because the media is neglecting to report on any of the other stuff. Like, everybody in the mainstream media thinks that there is such a race problem. And I'm not saying there aren't racist people in this country. I will never deny that there isn't racism in this country.
There are black people in this country who do not like white people at all. Okay? And I'm going to tell you a story here. When I was in my early teens and I started dating, it was in California, and I was dating Caucasian women. My father, who's black from Alabama, was not too happy about that at all. He was not happy that I was dating white women or white girls at the time. But here's the thing. My father comes up in an era where Martin Luther King was killed. Black people were being lynched. You know, people were being killed. Black people were being killed by white Americans. Mm-hmm. So for him to have a bias and or hatred towards white America, that's totally understandable, because he came up in an era where these things were happening to him and his people.
And there's where this.
So
okay.
Let me finish real quick, and I'll try to make it as quick as possible. So, fast forward, I'm married to a young lady who's a Caucasian American, white American, whatever. Anyway, and her grandfather came to me and said, "Hey, Mike, let me ask you a question. I heard years ago that black people could cut a watermelon in half and stick their head in the watermelon and eat the whole end of the watermelon." Right. Okay. So here's the thing. Most people would have been, the look on your face right now is offensive. You are offended by
I'm not
that question.
I'm like
why would somebody ask somebody that question? You're offended by it.
I'm not offended by it, Mike. You know me well enough. I am a literal person. I'm like actually trying to.
And that's what he thought. But here's the thing. He was 80-something years old. He comes from an era where he's never met black people. He's never interacted with a lot of black people. So for him to feel comfortable enough to ask me that question, I felt honored that he felt comfortable enough with me to ask me that question. Of course, I helped him to understand that that's not how black people do things. And he was genuinely, relieved, by the fact that, okay, this really doesn't happen.
Right.
You know
Like,
what I mean?
can invite you to the picnic. You're not going to.
I don't think he was worried about that because we had gone to a lot of picnics.
Yeah.
But the thing is that people get so offended and so upset about simple questions from the older generation that they miss the fact that these people grew up in an era where these things were happening, where segregation was a real thing. And today, black people are not the victims anymore. We're just not.
I know there are a lot of, I've heard people say, oh, if only the old white people would be gone, then we wouldn't have so much racism. I feel like there's a generation out there that doesn't understand each other.
There's going to be this discrimination no matter what we do, and no matter how we do it. Eventually, once race is not an issue any longer, okay? Because eventually everybody's going to be it's going to be a melting pot. I mean, there are people there there's Asians dating whites and blacks and
right, and it's
whatever.
all
it's going to be a complete melting
right.
pot throughout
European,
the United States. Right. So
Caucasian
here's
people are going to be the minority if we're not already.
You're not yet, okay?
Close. I'm sure.
You're not even close. You're not even close. But in the next 50 years, you will be. You're not close. You're not. Okay.
Oh, I thought it was coming up.
No,
Okay.
not yet. But eventually. So the point I'm getting at though is that there's going to be bigotry and or division over height, weight, eye color,
Everything.
sexual orientation,
It's human nature.
whatever. It's there's going to be a way that we're going to be divided. Something is going to divide us.
And they're not making it any easier for us to, I mean, social media and the fact that we all have our phones in front of our faces. I don't know what the statistic is now.
I think that's another subject.
But
I think that's another.
Okay.
I think we need to table that one.
Okay.
For
We can
another.
table that.
We'll put that on a social media in today's society discussion.
Yeah, you're right.
You
You're
know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah, because that kind of get that we're totally
Because
getting
we'll
away
go.
from.
I mean, we've already gone off on 10 tangents already. We don't need to.
We're gone off on what?
No, we
10 tangents.
we,
I thought you said
you and I-
tent.
No,
10.
10. I apologize. Did I not enunciate that correctly?
Enunciate yourself.
I'm Mike Sewell.
I'm Amy Alexander.
Thanks for joining us on the 70% podcast.
Please like, subscribe, comment, and hit that bell.
No doubt.